circling back to the investment piece, because I don't think we can understate that enough. When you started, in essentially, I think this was your first real mentorship program, right?
Absolutely was, yeah.
It was a significant amount of money to invest, considering the position you were in at the time. Like, it was $8,000 commitment you were making, which for a lot of people, they're like, if I'm on the ropes, how could I possibly make that type of commitment to get me out of it? But looking back now, a 2-year commitment, I said, in the next 2 years, we're going to be able to change the course and direction of your business. And I promise you, when you look back 2 years ago, you're going to laugh at the $8,000 you invested, because it's going to look like nothing compared to where you are now. Tell us a little bit, just so, especially the people who get mentored by you, tell us about like your top line revenue from day one versus where you are now, so people can actually see what the return on investment was, because it's crazy when you actually think about it.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly in 2019, so it would have been less than this, but I know 2020, start of 2020, post when everyone was on holidays, so when you actually start to count your revenue, it was about $2,000 a week that I was bringing in. And that was revenue. That's not, obviously we have to pay for systems and a whole heap of stuff. And we're at roughly 9 to 12 a week now. And that fluctuates depending on, upfront payments and things like that. But so 6-fold increase. And like $12,000 in a week, I could have paid Carl straight up in a week's payment. So, and I've got another business mentoring support team, and I ran this by Carl. I was like, hey, I still want you. I think that the value that you bring, and especially because you're in our industry, is invaluable. But now I also have another business support team, because almost every business owner I speak to are like, you need to invest in yourself as a coach. And this is what everyone says. And it's like, you don't become Elon Musk sitting in a room by yourself. And not that we're all aspiring to be like that, but if you want to be ahead of where you are, you have to be investing in this stuff. And it is invaluable to have someone support you and be there and provide that advice. And that's what you were to me, and that's what I'm hoping to be to the next generation as well. And I think that, there's nothing that beats it. And
so just so we can break down the numbers so everyone really appreciates it, Zen puts $8,000 in, and in 2 years' time has a return of $500,000 per year on top. $500,000 per year on top. $8,000 in for a $500,000 return year on year. That's actually insane. And for you to do that, like, you've actually gone through that journey, you've seen it all, and now you can teach that and actually show people. And not only do you then help your clients in your existing Swift Movement Academy, but then you have the option to help so many more people. Because when you help one trainer or one EP or one coach who then levels up their business and they go from 17 clients to 60 clients, you've now helped way more people. And then if you continue to do that on and on again, because you're now serving more people at an objective level, the opportunities that you get increase as a business owner, because now you can, make some big investments, buy homes, you've got enough cash flow coming in because you're delivering enough value going out that you can level up your life. And, I've seen you like 3 times in 3 weeks. You've hardly worked, which is awesome. Like, it's great. That's exactly where you want to get it. You do want to be able to have the flexibility to have your systems operating in the background. You've got a great team back in Queensland holding down the fort while you kind of pursue some cool opportunities for you, which we can't talk about. But, I think that is something that, looking back at 2019 when we first got to meet each other, that was a pipe dream. Like literally, that. I genuinely never ever thought that I would get to this position. Like, you always sort of say, oh yeah, like I want to like have some staff and have a clinic or whatever, but I think a lot of people say that in vain and don't actually like mean it or I think no one knows how much effort and work that actually genuinely takes. And it's been a lot of sacrifice, and it's been a lot of, for the educational mentorship, I spent 25 hours a week up to create the content, to get it out for the next week, to have it ready, to have it filmed, to do all of the research. Like, I was reading literature reviews on my Saturdays, on bright sunny Queensland Saturdays. I remember that, yeah.
And I was in my room just getting through. And now the fact that I can take half a week off every second week and be able to have it systemized, to a point where I'm just tweaking and adjusting, and this is not at the detriment of the coach's results that we get, but it's as a result of making it a system that's scalable and smart, to the point where I can really one-on-one, like I just called up one of the mentees literally yesterday. She was having a problem with it, and like, this is not part of what I say that I offer, but I now have the time afforded to be able to just call up and be like, yo, like with this program that you wrote, like I would adjust this and I would adjust this, that was great. And it's being able to provide more, not less value, because you do the hard slog up front.
And that's a good point. You mentioned you've scaled and systemized your business. I actually think the best thing you've done on top of all of that is you've kept your overheads so low. Most people think that, you know, to do what Zen's done, you then need to make the transition into your own facility. It's kind of like almost like this rite of passage, right? Where you have to do that. But you've managed to serve 60 clients a week. You've got 3 staff. You run these mentorship programs, and you've done that whilst best managing your own margins. Tell us about that, because I think it's actually the thing that maybe separates you and I is we have a $280,000 rent that we have to pay every single year, and only after that do we then kind of get to see any bottom line returns. You serve, essentially, relatively speaking, just as many people, so 60 across 4 versus 250 across 15 or whatever it is. You serve still a huge amount of people, but you've done it way more profitably. Can you tell us about your setup and how you've done that? Because I think PTs, EPs think that they have to save $200K to open a gym or open their clinic in order to do what you've done, in order to kind of serve people at a larger level, in order to satisfy a team. You've defied that. I reckon it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, so I'm still at the facility that I was at 3 years ago when I first started going out on my own, and had a good introduction there. And it's literally, I'm just renting or sub-renting a space within a space that's already leased. I wrote the contract via an email exchange because they were like, oh yeah, come in, whatever, $250 a week, cool. And I was like, no, I'm going to write some things down. And so they are super chill, and I really appreciate that I've got a great space to work in. But it doesn't take much to go into a facility that's underutilized and say, hey, like I'd love to rent a portion of your space, like one squat cell between these hours or whatever, and let's sort of make it work. And these guys who are in those like micro gyms are the ones who absolutely would love some consistent income from another PT to bring more people into their facility. Some of my clients do the classes there as well, so they benefit off of it too. But yeah, I mean, like you can do that in a good life as well, really. And I have a mentee who works at a World's Gym, and she's got a staff member under her, and they both work in World's Gym. And yeah, we pay $450 in rent a week. And considering that, like our revenue top line, that's absolutely nothing in comparison, as opposed to absolute minimum would be double that if I had my own facility, not including outgoings or rates or anything like that. So it's worked really well, and we work in and around that team.